thrill me.
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
Let's get twisted. Let's get twisted. Twisted. Let's get twisted. Twisted. Let's get twisted. Gonna get twisted. Let's get twisted.
Hey yo, and welcome to the Revealed Rob Show. I am, of course, your host, Revealed Rob, coming at you with all of the news from DC and horror and all the other realms in the movie realm. Yeah, as well. I got a review for you, a brand new movie, first horror movie of the year, first movie of the year in M3GAN. Can't wait to talk about that movie, man. Hope everybody out there's been doing good since the last time we had a chat here. Doing all right myself, man. Getting back into the swing of things as the year begins. Very happy and excited to announce that we have met a goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. Thank you. Round of applause all yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back and a clap for helping us meet that goal, man. We appreciate all of you and can't wait to keep growing in the future with all of you. And yeah, it's just good times, man. Having good times, all that stuff. Speaking of good times, since the last time we talked, I was on a couple shows on the 3 Podcast Network. You can check out. We've got the 2023 hype list movies. We've got the top 10 movies of 2022. All of us gave our favorite films of the year, and other stuff's going on. And then I played a video game. I actually had some video gaming time in, and I started playing the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, which I can tell you right now, quick review of it, because I haven't beat it, so I'm not too far into it or anything like that, but just from the start and where I'm at right now, having a great time with it. Fun, the controls are fun, the look is good, the freaking soundtrack, which is like the main thing I look for when it comes to these Guardians properties, because James Gunn has done such a great job with the soundtracks for the films, that I was like, I wasn't even expecting it going into the game. Like, I wonder what they're going to do soundtrack-wise, because it's such a big part of the Guardians. Freaking, they nailed it, man. Absolutely awesome soundtrack going on in there. And I'm having a good time. I like that game. That game seemed like it was kind of thrown under the radar and kind of kicked around a little bit, I guess, after the Avengers debacle aftermath, which I haven't played that game yet. The game is available on the PlayStation Plus to download, so I might check that out after Guardians of the Galaxy just to see what it's like. Again, go ahead and count your bingo card. Not a Marvel guy, but I'm having fun with this game. I've enjoyed the Spider-Man video games. Do I enjoy them as much as the Batman game? Of course not. Obvious not. But I'm still having a good time with them, and that's what matters, man. Is having a good time with video games. Because if you can't have a good time with video games, what the hey, man? That's what they're meant for, is to have a good time. So, anything else been up to? Nothing really? No? All right, cool. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's review. Again, mentioned earlier, is going to be M3GAN. This is the first movie of the year, first horror movie of the year, and it is rated... we'll talk about the ratings and all that stuff after this brief pause for the audio that is the trailer. Be right back.
This is M3GAN.
Hi, Megan. Do you want to hang out? Yes.
It's nice to have a friend.
M3GAN, your goal is to protect Katie from harm. Is the input request received?
Input received.
Stop! Don't! Megan!
You should probably run.
It's nice to have a friend.
Did Megan do something wrong? We're gonna be best friends forever.
Hand up back! All right. M3GAN is rated PG-13. It is a horror mystery thriller film. Again, there's that trifecta of beauty right there. It's running in at 1 hour and 42 minutes, and it is currently only in theaters. M3GAN is a marvel of artificial intelligence, a lifelike doll programmed to be a child's greatest companion and a parent's greatest ally. Designed by brilliant toy company Robotis Gemma, I think I said that word right. M3GAN can listen and watch and learn as she becomes friend and teacher, playmate and protector for the child she is bonded to. When Gemma suddenly becomes the caretaker of her orphaned 8-year-old niece, Katie, It's spelled Cady, so you want to say Caddy. I apologize. It's Katie. Gemma's unsure and unprepared to be a parent. Under intense pressure at work, Gemma decides to pair her M3GAN prototype with Katie in an attempt to resolve both problems. A decision that will have unimaginable consequences. Rotten Tomatoes critics have it at a 94%, while the audience has got it at an 80%. IMDb is coming in at a 6.7 out of 10. So, what are my thoughts of the film? So I always like to give some backstory before going into my thoughts on the movie. So I remember seeing this trailer a long time ago and hearing about this movie being made. My first immediate thought, and you guys, you know me, I use guys as a word. Obviously, ladies listen to the show as well. So y'all know me. I love Chucky. Chucky's my horror icon. I'm all about the killer doll, right? I love the Chucky killer doll, and anytime there's like a killer doll movie that comes out, I get my piques my interest, but I'm also like, because they're immediately always compared to Chucky, and they've been doing that with M3GAN as well. But my first thought when I heard about this movie was, well, that kind of sounds like the Child's Play remake in a way, because if you haven't seen the Child's Play remake, see it. It's actually not that bad of a movie. I know the look is not the best, but Mark Hamill does a great job as the voice of the Chucky doll. But the Chucky doll in that movie is more high tech and can be bonded to certain equipment around the house and everything, and he becomes Andy's friend and protector in the movie. So that was my immediate thought going into this movie. I'm like, oh, okay, well, Blumhouse and James Wan obviously saw the Child's Play movie. Um, but as time went on and we got closer to this movie, I started getting really hyped up for it and really, really ready for it. It would have been on my hype list for the show. I was like, it came out the same week. I think or it was about to come out the same week as that show coming out. So I was like, it's about to be here anyways. Let's talk about other stuff to hype up before the year the year's already started, the movie's about to be here, all that stuff anyways. But as we were getting closer, I was like getting really amped up and excited. I don't know if it was because it was the first movie of the year, first horror movie of the year, all that stuff or what, but I was really, really amped up and excited and into it, man. So going into the movie, I was ready for it, and as soon as that movie started, man, I was having a good time. Like, that's the kind of the thing with the Blumhouse horror films. For the most part, they always have a good balance of comedy and terror, right? Horror, thriller, all that stuff. So, and right off the rip, they get you laughing in this movie. And again, I never spoil anything with movies unless asked. So it builds and it's this great, you know, feeling. And it's a story. There's a story and there's emotion involved here. So there's going to be a long time that goes on before you see M3GAN do anything brutal. Obviously it's a horror movie, so you're going to expect it. And if you've seen the trailers, you can go ahead and expect it as well. That trailer right there with the freaking Tay Tay song in the background, love that. Absolutely love that. Holy cow, that was great. It's nice to have a friend. What a song. Love that song, by the way. Great song by Tay Tay. And I get it. It is nice to have a friend from time to time. Freaking my kind of life where I'm like, man, freaking look at Katie with M3GAN, man, that's awesome. But it gets emotional, man. It does get emotional in that movie, without a doubt. There are times where I freaking teared up. Didn't full out bawl, but I did tear up in moments. I had no problem mentioning that and saying that. It's the truth. And that's a good sign of a movie if it can get you to tear up with this emotion, especially a movie featuring an artificial intelligence, lifelike doll robot thing. If he can get you to tear up and feel the emotion in it, then they're doing a good job. So no complaints whatsoever story wise. Horror aspects, not too brutal of a film. We'll talk about that later, but it does get pretty intense at moments. There is some brutality in there, but nothing too over the top or crazy. It's just you know a horror film, not a slasher film. It's a horror film, thriller, all that good stuff. But I like what they did with this movie. Again, I mentioned it. I love Chucky, and even the Chucky series has gotten a little over the top and out of hand sometimes. So when you see these like killer doll ideas of movies, you're already going in with like, oh, it's a doll kind of deal. Now dolls do freak people out, which I do get it. I mean, Annabelle and Chucky are the two top ones, and they continue to get audiences involved in it. Now, of course, in different fields there, right? Chucky is you can more closely associate with Annabelle as opposed, or not Annabelle, with M3GAN as opposed to Annabelle. Freaking these girl doll names. Because Annabelle doesn't really do anything, right? Annabelle's a conduit. But I like this idea. We're living in this world where people are afraid of technology taking over, and we're speaking more and more into things like, "Hey Siri, do this," or "Hey Google," or Amazon, or whatever the hell that Amazon was. All that stuff. People are talking to those things, and they're connected to all your stuff, and just at any moment, like people are terrified of this stuff. Remember when Y2K? Some of you might be too young, but remember Y2K happened, and everybody was freaked out that the world was going to end because of technology. It's gotten even more advanced, obviously, since then. So it's a freaky concept of what artificial intelligence can do, especially this doll that is just programmed to learn and grow and take in more information and become more than what it was already. But overall, I think every single aspect of the film hit really well, and I have no problem saying, and this is, again, this is the first movie of the year. I have no problem saying this movie will probably have a lock in my top 10 of favorite films for the year, because it nailed on every single aspect for me. And there's a lot of things to come out later this year that I'm excited for. Again, go check out that hype list video that we did recently on the Third Podcast Network's YouTube. But I, I just love the movie, and I'm still excited about movie. And I'm trying to decide if I want to go back and see it in theaters again. I will probably, not even probably, this is a movie I would buy, I think, as soon as it comes out to purchase, because to me it is that good. Like, it is that good of a movie. I don't really buy films too much anymore, unless I really feel some kind of like connection to it. Like, the last movie I bought was the Elvis movie, and I have a huge connection to that. And even that was like a tussle, a tussle for me, because I'm like, oh well, there, it's on HBO Max, right? And it'll probably always be on HBO Max because it's a Warner Brothers property. But at the same time, Warner Brothers is kind of removing stuff from an HBO Max, like Netflix style, I guess. So who knew? Who knew? And I was like, ah, screw it, I'll buy the Elvis movie. I like that movie enough. But yeah, getting back to M3GAN, I think they hit everything that they needed to hit. They give a hell of a story throughout the film. The horror aspects and the thriller aspects of the film hit great. It's believable. The comedy is sprinkled in there the way it needs to be sprinkled in there. So yeah, I say the movie is fantastic. I love that it's gotten some high percent scores. And again, I provide those scores just to let you know that everybody has different varying opinions on things. I don't ever watch a movie based on a Rotten Tomatoes score. I watch a movie based on if I want to watch it. I have no care whatsoever what Rotten Tomatoes scores a movie, or IMDb scores a movie, or anything like that. I just go into a movie if it interests me. Um, and to be fair, there's a lot of movies I love that are probably ranked horribly on Rotten Tomatoes. I could care less because I still love the movie. The ratings don't mean anything as far as I'm concerned. But we I enjoyed M3GAN a lot, and I can't wait to see it again, man. I'm excited to see it again and again. Early in the year, but I feel very positive in saying that this movie is locked into my top 10 for 2023 already, and there's still a lot of film to come, man. But yeah, go check out M3GAN if you get the opportunity. I don't think we have anything big coming out soon. I know this weekend we've got Plane coming out, so you can see that. you know, and I'll probably do something on the Throwing Podcast Network's YouTube where I talk about stuff that's releasing each week, because I used to do that on this show, and then kind of get away from it. And I might start doing that as a video thing on the YouTube, just let people know stuff that's coming out. But yeah, overall, M3GAN, fantastic film, great way to start off the year. Starting off the year in a positive front, both with horror and movies in general. And be on the lookout. I'm pretty sure Mr. Wonderful will have a review on his show this week. I don't know for sure he will, but he might. And then maybe Slasher Report, which is a new show here on the Throw Me Podcast Network. Debuted last week. Hits every Friday on the Throw Me Podcast Network's YouTube. So check that out this week. I'm sure there'll be some talk of M3GAN on there as well. But yeah, I think the movie is solid, man. So let's talk about a little bit more about M3GAN before we close it out and go into the news here. Originally, the movie was much gorier, and there is a chance that an unrated version will possibly be released. Is apparently on the books and way gorier. Body count in the script is higher than what you see in the movie. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sure there'll be an unrated version, it sounds like, to be released later on via Blu-ray or digital. So be on the lookout for that. And talks apparently from Deadline. Deadline is reporting that a sequel is already in early development for M3GAN, which is not too much of a surprise. One, because the movie has made $30 million on its first week, $45 million worldwide. And apparently the budget for this movie was only $12 million. Only $12 million. That's a lot of money. But it was $12 million, and they've made freaking $30 million in the US and Canada, and $45 million worldwide. I mean, come on, dude. It's going to make even more money. So, yes, they're going to make a sequel. Hell, Blumhouse has a sequel to freaking Happy Death Day. Okay. They're going to make a sequel to M3GAN, without a doubt. So, be on the lookout for that, as well as the unrated copy. Maybe they'll throw that in theaters to get some money as well. Who knows? But I'm excited either way. M3GAN, what a movie. All right, and while we're here, let's go ahead and talk some more spooky talk. First thing we must mention here on the Review It Rob show is that Wednesday, the fantastic Netflix series has been picked up and renewed for a season 2 on the Netflix, as rumors have been circulating, wondering when season 2 would be happening since season 1 ended late last year. Rumors that it was maybe going to Amazon, which I never understood, but it is officially been announced by Netflix that season 2 of the fantastic Wednesday show is happening. Jenna Ortega and the rest of the cast is expected back, as I would assume Tim Burton is expected back as well, but nothing has been announced on those words yet. But I mean, obviously the cast will be back. I don't know about the Tim Burton part. I'm sure they can get him back though. Seemed like he had a good time making that show. God, I love that show. I absolutely love that show. Can't wait to see what else they bring in here. All right, let's see. Let's jump over to James Wan. Mentioned him earlier with M3GAN. He was part of the production for M3GAN. And he was recently asked while doing advertising for the M3GAN film, or promoting is the word I was looking for. He was asked about the Conjuring Universe. And he said, quote, "Yeah, we are working on it right now with the Conjuring films. We are very precise about them. So we kind of want to just take our time to make sure we get it right and to make sure the emotion of the Warren stories that we want to tell and moving into and potentially wrapping up, we just want to make sure that it's the right thing, the right story that we're telling." Which has sparked some, you know, topic of conversation with maybe James Wan hinting there with saying potentially wrapping up that the Conjuring universe could be ending soon. He went on, he was asked about it again in that interview after he said that, and he said, quote, "We never know, you never know, quote, we'll see." I don't see the Conjuring universe ending anytime soon, as that thing makes a lot of money, and we've got the Nun movie coming out later this year, and we'll see how that does. But the Conjuring universe has been highly successful for the Warner Brothers studios, so maybe James Wan might be stepping away from directing Conjuring films, but I don't see the Conjuring universe ending at all. I mean, now there's questions of where do they go? You know, obviously you got the Nun 2 and then the Conjuring 4 coming up. I don't believe they've announced anything else. The Crooked Man movie has been canceled. I don't know what's going on in the Annabelle front, and I don't know of any other Conjuring universe films in the works at the moment. Now, you know, just thinking about this, you know, off the top of my head while going over this stuff here, I don't know if we'd get another Annabelle movie because the last one was Annabelle Comes Home. So Annabelle's already at the Warrens' house and locked up. So I don't. I mean, they could always do a previous story or something like that with Annabelle, but I don't know where they'd go with Annabelle at this point. So yeah, we got the Nun 2, we got the Conjuring 4, both confirmed. I don't know. I don't know where else they would go. So maybe it is the end of the Conjuring universe, sadly. You know, there's of course all these other stories of the Warrens that you could tap into, which they kind of tapped into with the Annabelle Comes Home. So, you know, again, we'll see what happens there. But you know, there are rumors afoot after that quote there from James Wan that something is changing, possibly in the Conjuring universe, be it James Wan leaving or the Conjuring universe in general ending. But we'll have to wait and see how things turn out on that front. All right, for you Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans, maybe some unhappy news potentially here. Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's how I like to say her name. Sarah Michelle Gellar is not interested in reviving Buffy Summers in a Buffy reboot, saying, quote, "I'm very proud of the show that we created and it doesn't need to be done," end quote. She said that, of course, about returning to the character. She said, "We wrapped that up. I'm all for them continuing the story because there's the story of female empowerment. I love the way the show was left. Every girl who has the power can have the power. It's set up perfectly for someone else to have the power. But like I said, the metaphors of Buffy were the horrors of adolescence. I think I look young, but I am not an adolescent anymore." So yeah, she is not interested in doing Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot, which has been highly rumored for a while. I think I don't know anything else around that front. I didn't watch the Buffy show. Have no real interest to watch it. I did watch the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie though. That was a fun time. I mean, maybe someday I'll see the Buffy show, but I have no interest to be honest with you. And that's nothing against the show itself. It's just even when it was live on new, like I had no real interest in watching it. I don't know why. I don't really know why. Yeah. But there you go. There could be a reboot at some point, but Sarah Michelle Gellar will not be a part of it. Maybe she'll have like a guest appearance if they ever do it, though. We'll see. And finally, in the spooky news, Eli Roth is finally making that Turkey Day movie. He is taking time away from Borderlands reshoots to work on his Thanksgiving movie. The horror film is based on a mock trailer that he made for Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez's Grindhouse film. Taking over the Borderlands reshoots will be Deadpool's Tim Miller. So there you go. Good for him. I like Eli Roth. And I know that's something that people have been clamoring for and hoping for, is that Thanksgiving movie would eventually be made. And now you have it. He's going to be working on that. So you'll have another Thanksgiving horror movie to throw in there, other than that one Wonderful always talks about. Let's see. Now let's jump into the DCU, the DC Universe, with the news over here. Ezra Miller is expected to stay on as the DCU's Flash, as the film continues to get high test ratings, and the Warner Brothers executives are in favor of keeping the actor on board because because they have been doing a fantastic job with getting help with their mental health, which again is the most important thing here, is that Ezra is seeking help for the mental health aspects. Now, I'm excited for that because I do like Ezra, and I'm happy that cancel culture lost this round, it seems, because I can't stand cancel culture. What a stupid thing. But it makes sense as well. They are the Flash character, and Flash is going to be controlling where this timeline goes in the future with the DCU and everything with this Flash movie coming up. Still don't understand the Aquaman movie. Just go ahead and cancel that one or move the release date, because I mean, if we're doing this big shift and the rumor is true of Jason Momoa being Lobo, like what is the I don't know. I mean, I'm not seeing the Aquaman movie anyway, so who cares? James Gunn has mentioned this briefly. He was asked about the Ezra Miller news and the slate for his DCU, as rumors have come out saying that it's only 3 years. James Gunn responded by saying, "I don't know what's out there about Ezra, but our slate is 8 to 10 years," end quote. Now, not a direct confirmation or denial that Ezra is being kept on as the Flash there, which, again, I hope Ezra is around. If Ezra isn't the Flash, it will hurt, but, I understand. But yeah, 8 to 10 years. I don't know where this 3 years thing has come from. Stupid people on the internet thinking they know everything. But yeah, James Gunn has said it multiple times that the slate is 10 years. So 8 to 10 years is the thing. And again, we're getting more information on his DCU vision this month. So be on the lookout for that. I will have a show based on just that, of course, because I love DC. Let's see. Andy Muschietti has shared a bit of a look at his Flash film on his Instagram. He doesn't post much there, but sometimes he throws something up. Very interesting. This time he posted a picture of him holding a Flash lightning bolt emblem in his hand while he is seemingly in Central City on set. So we got a little look at Central City at midnight there, is what he quoted it as. Excited, man. I can't wait to see this movie. So interested. So excited for this movie. All right, let's see. Other Flash news. Oliver Queen will be returning for the final season of The Flash. Stephen Amell and the CW have announced that Amell will be back as Oliver Queen / Green Arrow for the final season and the 9th and final season of The Flash. Of course, very fitting as, of course, the Arrowverse was created with Green Arrow and the Flash appeared on the Green Arrow television series. So it makes perfect sense that Stephen Amell would be back for the final season. And speaking of the Arrowverse, a big part of the Arrowverse is Greg Berlanti, and he is staying with Warner Brothers for a little bit longer. His contract was set to expire in 2024, but has been updated, to 2027. So Greg Berlanti staying on with Warner Brothers Television with a sizable new overall deal with the studio. And we'll see what he continues to work on. I know he's part of the Green Lantern show that is on the way for HBO Max, as well as, I'm sure, other properties. And we'll see what James Gunn has planned for Berlanti. I don't know if Berlanti's stuff is going to be Elseworld stuff or not. We'll see how all of that unfolds in the time to come. And finally, before we close this show out, we've got a little bit of other news, as I like to put it. In a new interview with SiriusXM, Jack Black said that he and Kyle Gass are currently considering making a proper sequel to The Pick of Destiny. As well, Jack Black also said he's thinking about a follow-up to School of Rock. Jack Black did not elaborate on a timeline or provide any more details about these potential sequels. Now, if you know me at all, I'm a huge Jack Black fan, and if you continue to know me at all, you know that I love Tenacious D and The Pick of Destiny to death. Absolutely love that movie. Rock the soundtrack a lot. Watched the movie a lot. Always like a good go-to movie for me. It just put me in a good mood, man, because what a hilariously over-the-top, ridiculous movie that is. So hearing the fact, and there was rumors before that they were going to try to do a sequel to The Pick of Destiny, and didn't happen, but now it seems like, again, they're still working on that, and please give it to me. I'm very excited about that. As far as a School of Rock follow-up, interesting. I don't know what that would be. I know, sadly, one of the kids passed away recently. Let's see, Miranda Cosgrove's still out there kicking ass as iCarly, but I don't know what any of the other kids are up to. But I guess that would be what the movie would be, right? Catching up with the kids, or is he like the principal now with the school? I don't know what that would be. We'd have to wait and see what would happen there. But I mean, I'll watch it again. I'm a Jack Black fan. I like School of Rock. School of Rock's a good movie. So yeah, definitely mostly excited about the possibility of a Pick of Destiny 2. But yeah, I mean, School of Rock, I'd watch that as well. Let's see, we've got a runtime for Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which debuted a new trailer during the blowout of a football game that was the college football national championship doohickey. It's so funny. It's like, I'm sure there's people watching that game like, show me the trailer already. Not like, that trailer is going to be on freaking the social medias right away after it debuts. So if you tuned in for the football game just for that trailer, what are we doing? What are we doing? But nonetheless, we have a runtime now for the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, according to Fandango, and that is going to be 125 minutes, also known as 2 hours and 5 minutes, which puts it about the same runtime as Doctor Strange. Yes, Doctor Strange 2, also known as, and should have been called, Wanda and the Multiverse of Madness. Cool. I mean, I guess that's 2 hours, 5 minutes for an Ant-Man movie. How long were the other Ant-Man movies? All right, Ant-Man and the Wasp is showing at 1 hour and 58 minutes. Wow, so pretty much 2 hours there. Ant-Man, the first movie, was 1 hour 58. So God, all these movies are 2 hours. Wow. I don't know why I'm surprised by that. These superhero movies do seem to be long sometimes, but okay. 2 hours and 5 minutes for Ant-Man and the Wasp. And finally, in our bit of news here, that movie, what is it, Babylon? That movie with Margot Robbie that has apparently been a bust is not hurting her career at all, as she is signed on to team up with her Barbie co-star in an Ocean's 11 prequel that is set to begin filming this year. So Margot Robbie is continuing to be busy, which means that Pirates of the Caribbean film that she's a part of is going to continue to be pushed back, as she'll be working on Ocean's 11 coming up. Good for her. I'm glad this Babylon thing isn't messing her. I mean, it's not her fault the movie did bad. No, it's just probably time of release was not good. I don't know. I mean, the movie looked interesting. At the same time, I did not go to theaters to see it either. So we'll see. I'll eventually see it and review it on the show. But yeah, Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling were teaming up for an Ocean's 11 prequel, which I don't know about y'all. I have not watched any of these Ocean's movies. Well, I take that back. I watched the female one, the all female. What is that? Ocean's 9? Ocean's 9 or 8, right? Ocean's 8. I watched that one. Other than that, I have not seen the other Ocean's films. So let's see how it all goes there. But that's it for the news. I appreciate you listening to me ramble on about all that stuff, give you a review of the M3GAN, and then we do some spooky talk, DC talk, and other realm talk. This is always fun doing the show. Remember this, the Romy Podcast Network. Please follow us on YouTube. Thank you again for all the people who've helped us reach the goal of 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep kicking tail and keep growing. You can find all kinds of shows there. You can find the Metal Groove. You can find Mr. Wonderful Show. You can find Core Memory Unlocked. You can find Deprogrammed. And like I mentioned earlier, Slasher Report there. Now, if there's any news that breaks in between this show and next week's show, again, please check out the Mr. Wonderful Show. He'll have you covered with some more entertainment news. And then, of course, horror news you can get on the Slasher Report. Good mix up of shows, man. You got freaking Metal Groove with music. You got these entertainment shows. You got these movie review shows. You got this horror talk shows. You got this haunt talk shows. I guess this is growing up. All these kind of fun stuff, man. All this kind of fun stuff going on, and just continuing to come up with more stuff. We got a Patreon with all kinds of cool shows going on there as well. And where else? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, man. A lot of stuff going on. Having a good time. 2023 is off to a good start, man. Hope it's off to a good start for all of you as well. If it's not, hang tight, hold strong. Everything does work out. And remember, happiness can always be found, even in the darkest of times, if one remembers to turn on the light. Talk to you all next episode.